The book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, starting at verse 1, and it reads, I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. Verse 2, and the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. The vision is the prophecies. Yeah. Habakkuk was considered a watchman, because he was a prophet. Prophets were called seers before they were called prophets. So their job was to watch for the signs and different tokens written of in the scriptures. And basically, they were the the middleman, as you will, between the Most High and the people. Whenever the Lord was bringing change to a kingdom or the nation of Israel, he would send a seer or a prophet. Verse 3, for the vision is yet for a appointed time, meaning the prophecy, but at the end it shall speak and not lie, though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. Verse 4, behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. Whose soul is not upright? Esau, Edom, this red Hebrew Edomite. And who shall live by their faith? Jacob, the nation of Israel, the elect actually of the nation of Israel, because you got 2/3 that are joined onto this world and onto Esau, Edom. 2/3 that are, carnal more than spirit. You know, Verse 5, yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, meaning his philosophies. He is a proud man, neither keepeth at home. And this red Hebrew Edomite is in everyone's land. We know that right now. They're involved with the Ukraine situation, the Ukraine and Russia situation. They're involved with the Taiwan and China situation. You know, they don't keep at home all the issues that America has, but yet still they're trying to tell and dictate to the rest of the world how they should move and, what policies they should be enacting and pushing and following and whatnot. Who enlargeth his desires, Salaki, who enlargeth his desires hell, meaning he can't be sated or satisfied. He's covetous. Who enlargeth his desires hell and is as death. Son of perdition. First Thessalonians. Well, that's Second Thessalonians, isn't it? I think that's First Thessalonians. But it says Salakia, and cannot be satisfied by monitored and no privacy, you know, and pretty much no free will, because if you're gonna be subjugated to punishment if you don't agree or go along with their agenda, then that's actually like no free will. And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. So when you go into that word clay or the thick clay, it's abadya, meaning debts or heavy debts. And this petrodollar unit of measurement of debt-based currency. So, yeah. And we see Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and the freedom to do so. Now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akim and the Aquath out there listening and learning. Lord, willingly, this is edified. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations who don't subscribe to this truth to you. I say shalom. Your brother Yahweh Sap out of the GMS Cleveland Church, a fellow servant, coming at you with another lesson through the Spirit and through the power of Yahweh Shemel Shai. This lesson is in regards to this article out of the Daily Hold. Hodl. 100 billion existed. Salaki, 100 billion exited U.S. banking system in 3 months. As Kevin O'Leary warns, people are very nervous about putting their money in the bank, and rightfully so. I would say for sure, last month, the Spirit's been on me. The Lord put the Spirit on me to basically follow these different keepers of the house, or what they would consider economists, guys that basically, and women, I guess, that deal with the financial climate of this nation, and it's not looking too good. You got a whole situation now with it's a bank called Green Dot, and if you've ever had to go to like CVS or Walmart, Walgreens or whatnot and bought some of those prepaid cards, you could add money to those prepaid cards. But now I guess they actually have it where you can open banking accounts. Well, the banking situation is so dire that they were just keeping customers' accounts. You know what I mean? And not just, banks like that, because from what I hear, it was in the little bank, I heard banks like JP Morgan and Wells Fargo, I've heard of how, they closed out certain individuals' accounts, So yeah, you'd be a fucking fool right now to keep money in the bank. Now, don't get me wrong, a lot of things are done through banks and whatnot, So I wouldn't say, me myself, I remember something that a very wise individual, a statement that individual made, actually was the elder apostle Tahar, our beloved elder. And he said, you should keep a little money, at the house, a little money in the bank, and keep you a little silver and gold if you can, Now, none of these things will save you, but, when this shit get to scrambling, you know what I mean? It's better, because they can stop the bank account at any time. And although the money might be worthless, it might not be worthless to an individual at that moment. You know what I mean? You never know how the Lord gonna play it. So yeah, and the reason for this is exiting of $1 billion, because I've been following certain articles for the last, since maybe May, June, since that Silicon Valley Bank. You've had banks, money moving and exiting out of the banking system, and that's why you got these banks scrambling. From what I hear from watching these economists, they say basically the banks are insolvent, meaning they can't pay their debts. They don't have the money. So if the government is not willing to do no stimulus, which more than likely they won't be, because the government's in debt, their credit rating has basically went down along with these banks. So this bitch is like just a ship in the water. Now the thing is this: it's all the will of Yahweh Shemel Shai, and then you got to understand the elites run all this shit. So if they done with this place, it'll be over with. But if they still want to utilize this place to set up or do whatever they're trying to do, they'll allow it to keep going on. Ultimately, it's the Most High plan with the minds of men. I'll read a little bit of the article, bring out these few scriptures. Lord willingly is edifying. It says Shark Tank's Kevin O'Leary says the U.S. banking system is set for a period of major consolidation after a loss of confidence in the financial sector. And you're seeing a lot of banks basically close the brick and mortar stores, go to online banking, or you have bigger banks buying out these smaller banks. So from what I hear, I remember brothers was doing videos about the Silicon Valley situation. They said, big bank take little bank. I remember that growing up. It was a game Jake would play. Whoever had the most money took the other person's their money. So if I got $3,000, but you got $300, and we count the money out, I get your money. So basically, the big banks is boiled down to like a few banks, few major banks. that's all pushing this agenda of, you know, a digital currency. Like I was watching or listening to something earlier this morning. It's talking about Citigroup. Basically, they're the first ones to implement the platform for the whole FedNow system. Yeah, I was just talking about how they started this FedNow, but they ain't been utilizing it. Well, they said that they're ready to roll theirs out, so we gotta wait and see. Because again, I'm pretty sure that this FedNow isn't just an instant payment system. It says in a new Fox News network, it's like a new Fox News interview, the venture capitalist says the number of regional banks. Right. So it's bank consolidation. Basically, banks gonna be absorbing one another to this mega bank. We have 4,100 regional banks in America. Probably in the next 3 years, it will be down to 2,000. They're going to consolidate. People are very nervous about putting their money in the bank because it's another one. It's like because if another one fails and you have your cash in there, right now you're only guaranteed for 250,000, and that shows you a lot right there. So the FDIC insures account up to 250,000. Well, say for instance you have 5 million in there. If something the bank affects your money is affected by whatever happens, the bank fell and whatnot, the only money you're going to get back is 250,000. So you'd be a fucking fool to keep your money in the bank. Now it's crazy how this system works. It says O'Leary prediction comes as new data shows depositors have pulled money out of the U.S. banking system for 5 consecutive quarters. Right, but at the end of the day, you got to remember Esau committed a diligent search. You know what I mean? This is what ultimately they want. They don't want you actually doing transactions with physical currency or going to get physical currency. They want you to do everything digitally so they could track and monitor everything. According to Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation Chairman Martin Gruenberg, total deposits went from 18.7 trillion at the end of Q1. And ultimately, people are taking their money out because they concerned about the money failing because they watched the banks fail. And it's going to fail because it's all prophecy. You know, this is the book of Genesis, chapter 47 and verse 15, and it reads, and when money failed in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan, all the Egyptians came unto Joseph and said, give us bread, for why should we die in thy presence? For the money faileth. You know, at first, before the money fails, you have this hyperinflation. You know, I was listening to the brother Bakura Moth, shalom to that brother, and he was going into capital controls. He was like, when you go into these certain countries, when they start implementing capital controls, that's right before, you know, the country and the banks and everything fails. You know, we just witnessed, you know, the Silicon Valley Bank, and what they didn't tell you is a lot of more banks that's struggling to the point where they're about to fail. You know, the U.S. banking system is all interconnected. So, but he's going into capital controls, and when they're put into place, the government basically tells you what you can and cannot buy with your money. You know what I mean? So, and those are pretty much, we went into an article about how those are pretty much on the way here. So, you know, again, when we witnessed with our own eyes. Because I remember I was at the laundromat telling somebody something. They was like, do you really think the American dollar going to fail? I'm like, you just witnessed the fucking, the banks fail with the Silicon Valley. That show you how strong of a delusion this place has on Jake mind. Even Esau is up there. You know, I was listening to a video the elder Yashawamba did. It was somebody did the video, or it was the brother from Nebraska. But long story short, the elder brother from Nebraska. You know, you even had Esau up there, like we bought a farm and, you know, we basically prepping because they see this place is downfall. But Jake just so in love with Babylon the Great, a.k.a. America, you know, a.k.a. Egypt, a.k.a. Canaan, you know what I mean? All these wicked ass kingdoms. Americans rolled up into all of them. It's one big ass cesspool, and that's why the destruction of this place is going to be, it's going to far outdo all of those. You know, this is all prophetic because it tells you in the scriptures that, you know, the money's going to fail. You know, basically it tells you in the scriptures that a digital system will be put in place. What I got that for? That's what scriptures tell you. Lay not yourself treasures in heaven. This is the book of Matthew chapter 6 and verse 19. Matthew 6 and 19, and it reads, lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal. You know, and the thieves that's gonna be breaking through to steal is gonna be these bank managers and executives and, you know, CEOs and shit. You know what I mean? They was just talking about Yellow Freight, that Yellow Freight trucking company, right before they went and did what they did, as far as, because I don't think them people got their pensions either. They said that they paid all the executives like millions of dollars. Yeah, that show you how wicked that shit is. You know, I forgot who was just making mention of that. They was talking about how you got that was that economic ninja, the individual that he economist, and he's going into how, you know, like Lehman Brothers, the bank, how all the executives that basically mismanaged that corporation, they were hired by other companies to mismanage other companies. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what kind of witchcraft they got going on over there. It says, verse 21, for where your treasure is, Salakia, verse 20, but lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal. For where your treasure is, there will also, Salakia, for where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. Verse 22, the light of the body is the eye. And that's just going into being basically single to, you know, this truth, you know, your purpose. You know, don't get me wrong, we have lives outside of the truth, outside of our jobs, because you got to still work to eat, and you got brothers with families and all these different things. But your main purpose is this truth, and it will show when a so-called brother is slacking, because, you know, you'll know a brother. You can't call every man a brother. You know, you call him a brother until you know he's not a brother. If he was of us, he would have remained of us. You know what I mean? Roughly paraphrased, but, you know, you're supposed to stay like singled eyed. You know, what's that, tunnel vision? You're supposed to have tunnel vision, seeing. You know, because this is likened onto a race. You know, so ultimately, it's this wisdom and knowledge that is the true treasure. You know, it tells you in the scriptures in the book of Isaiah chapter 33 that wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of that time. It also tells you in Ezekiel that they shall cast their silver and gold in the streets. So those things ain't really gonna save you like no physical silver and gold. Now, don't get me wrong, they can be beneficial to a degree, but if you got silver and gold and somebody got a sword or a gun and you don't know how to protect yourself, the motherfucker take your silver. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You know, and that day it'll be the people, the marauders, like the elder Malcolm was going into the marauders. You know what I mean? Man, that's gonna come in. Man, the water's gonna come in and take your shit. Ultimately, the only thing that you can really keep is your faith. You know. I ain't gonna get that. This is the book of Proverbs chapter 30 and verse 8. Remove far from me vanity and lies. Give me neither poverty nor riches. Feed me with food convenient for me. So that's why you shouldn't really want to be rich in this world. You know, and it even show you that with like certain individuals. You know, look at, like, that's why a majority of like our people, especially, that went on to amass money in Hollywood. You know, your Red Foxes and different individuals. A lot of them died broke. You know, he was in the limelight, made all this money for Esau Edom, but died broke. You know, and then the things you have to do in this world to maintain, to gain or to maintain wealth. You got to sell your soul or your whole. Scriptures say that money is not evil, but it's the love of money that's evil. This is the book of 1 Timothy chapter 6 and verse 10. For the love of money is the root of all evil. which while some covet after, they have erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. Skipping to verse 17. Charge them that are rich in this world that they be not high-minded, nor trust in uncertain riches, but in the living power, who giveth us richly all things to enjoy. So it tells you that the Most High, it is nothing for the Most High to make a poor man rich, And it's accounts, when you're going to Solomon, he desired wisdom, and the Most High was so pleased that he gave him both wisdom and riches. But these are uncertain riches. We watching these banks collapse, especially if you just, I challenge anybody listening to it, just go start. I ain't even saying really do a diligent search. Just go find an economist that got a lot of subscribers and literally just follow him to a degree. I ain't saying watch every video, none of that, because I watch about 3 or 4 of them, and they all make videos each day, and none of them bullshitting with it. They all say yeah, it's gonna be a recession. They all see, one in particular I watch a lot is the John, and you'd be surprised what they up on. Again, it makes you question: do they be listening to the brothers, to the elders and apostles? Because they, like the one guy John Williams, he literally saying what we saying. How automation gonna come into play, how it's gonna be a technology that they want to put in you, all that. It's the book of James, chapter 2. Because at the end of the day, the Lord ain't dealing with those that's wealthy and got a lot of riches on the side. The book of Luke, chapter 6 says, those that are rich have received their consolation. The Lord ain't looking for, those that have wealth on this side, because ultimately the Lord is the one who gave them the wealth. And just because you have abundance of riches doesn't mean it's for your best interest. It tells you in the scriptures with the rich man, Yahushua said, seldom does a rich man enter the kingdom, because they don't want to give up their riches. This is James chapter 2 and verse 5. Hearken, my beloved brethren, hath not the Most High chosen the poor of this world, rich in faith, and heirs of the kingdom which he hath promised to them that love him. Verse 6, but ye have despised the poor. Do not rich men oppress you and draw you before the judgment seats? Do not they blaspheme that worthy name by the which ye are called? And the rich do despise the poor. It tells you the servant is, or it says the borrower servant to the lender. You know what I mean? And that's what they ultimately trying to do, Like this devil literally trying to put you in subjection in a system where you have to come to him for the one of all things. That's how he's trying to maintain his power, by putting everybody in subjection to where you need him. And a lot of people gonna sell their soul for that, because more people gonna want to try and hold on to their life than lose it. I pray I'm one of those individuals that the Lord will put the spirit on in that day to, be willing to give up my life for Yahweh Bashem Yahushua's sake, to find it. So yeah, you're going to see, like I said, more calamities, more, 2 Ezra chapter 8 and verse 50 says, many great miseries shall appear in the last day or the latter days, because they have walked with great pride, roughly paraphrased. So you're going to see more, money exiting. You're going to see more calamities. You're going to see more pestilence. You're going to see more. Because the Lord just getting started, as far as judgment with this place. So with that, I want to give all praise, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem, double honor to my apostles, the elders of the great Millstone, who teach and do rule well. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the 4 corners of the earth, pushing this truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and their freedom to do so now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akim and the Aqua, listening and learning, Lord willingly. This is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations, but whom subscribe to this truth. To you I say shalom. Till next time I'm able to come with another lesson, I'm going to say shalom, shalom. I'm going to say Mawat, shalom.